Hi everyone, welcome back to another gameplay of Genshin Impact. So, a new character has been released on the official game. It's Eula, or Eula, as the English people pronounce it. She's gonna be a 5-star cryo claymore user. And in this video, I'm gonna just show you all her talents, the abilities, just a quick look at the constellations. We're gonna see her in action, and I'm gonna just give you guys my thoughts and my impressions about her, and then at the end I'm gonna try to pull her on the wishes. So well, first of all, she's considered a main DPS character, so the basic stats are pretty high, and she's gonna involve a team where you wanna have like more supporting characters, and you're gonna be using her mostly as DPS. Now, she's not gonna really be doing a lot of cryo damage. She's more of a physical damage DPS. Now, here in this trial version that the game lets you to see, she's equipped with a 5-star weapon, Song of Broken Pines. And you can see that this is granting already a little bit of physical damage bonus as a second passive. And then here you have increased attack, and then you can have, when you have 4 stacks, you can get extra attack speed, so it's pretty good, especially on a character like her. Attack speed and also more attack. She's equipped as well here with a 4-set Pale Flame, again just boosting the physical damage that she's gonna do. Plus the fact that if you go here, if you go into her skill, you can see that the cooldown, if you press it, is just 4 seconds. So that means that you can proc very easily the 4-piece set passive, so having an extra 18% attack and increasing the physical damage up to 50%. So yeah, I think this artifact set most likely is one of the best for her. Here the attributes, I'm gonna just take a look. The game here has a 57.1% crit rate and 120.7% crit damage. And then down here you can see the physical damage bonus is already a lot, 102.2%. I think also she gains physical damage as she ascends and as she levels up. And yeah, so without further ado, let's just jump into the talents. So first of all, the basic attacks. She's gonna have a 5-hit combo, and the 3rd and the 5th attack are gonna be double, so she's gonna be doing 2 different attacks. And this looks like this. So that's the first one, 2nd, 3rd, double, 4th, and then 5th. So it's pretty cool, especially the 5th attack. It's pretty cool in terms of, you know, design and graphics. And of course here the talent is already level 8, so these percentages are pretty boosted. But yeah, this is a Claymore user, so the basic stats are already pretty high, so her basic damage is pretty high. And then the charging attack, it's gonna be exactly the same as like the look, I think. So she's not gonna rotate around her like Noelle, but she's gonna just dash like that as she moves forward. And I think that's pretty much it for her attacks. I can't show you the plunge attack. And yeah, now next is the skill. Now the skill has 2 different ways to be used: pressing or holding, pretty much like Razor. So if you press it, she's gonna do cryo damage, and she's gonna gain a stack of Grimheart. Now this Grimheart is gonna increase her resistances, so it's pretty much more defense. You can get up to 2 stacks of this, and you can see the cooldown is very short, so every 4 seconds you can press this skill and you can get the 2 stacks. Now if you hold this skill, the cooldown is going to become a lot longer, so almost 2.5, I think it's 2.5 times longer. And she's going to do again cryo damage. She's going to be doing more damage. You can see here the holding damage is higher than the pressing damage. And she's gonna consume these stacks to reduce the physical resistance and the cryo resistance of the enemy's hit. And also she's gonna do extra damage with these Ice World brands. So yeah, it's gonna be just easier to just show you afterwards in the fight. But pretty much you wanna always like at least have 1 stack until you use the holding, because in that way you can get the extra benefits of the physical resistances in the extra damage from the Grim Heart. So you can see here the Icewind brand is going to do an extra 154%. So you can have up to 2, remember, up to 2 stacks. So this can be doubled. And yeah, the cool thing is that the physical resistance decreases and the cryo resistance decreases can increase with the level of the talent. So the more you level up, the more you're going to be reducing the resistances of the enemies. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, that's the skill. So here I'm going to just show it to you. So if you press it, she's going to slash from the top left towards the bottom right. And you can see the cooldown is very short. So you can use it very easily and very often. And that's why Pale Flame works so well with her, because you can proc this 4-piece set effect very easily. And then instead, if you hold it, you can see that she's gonna dash. In this case, she's gonna damage from the bottom left, and she's gonna just slash towards the top right. The cooldown is much longer, but as we said before, you get the extra damage and you get the extra benefits depending on how many stacks did you have when you were about to use it. Now the stacks here are gonna last a lot of time. You can see that the stacks from Grimheart are gonna last 18 seconds. So yeah, that's a lot of time. And yeah, that's pretty much her skill. So you can just, attack, and as you're doing your combo, you can use your skill, so you can press it. Of course, you're gonna be resetting your combo, but you can always, use it in between your attacks. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the skill. Then the burst here. The burst is pretty interesting because this is a very long explanation. I'm gonna just try to explain to you easier. So you're gonna be doing cryo damage to enemies around Eula. Then you're gonna gain this sword for 7 seconds. Now the more you attack, so the more enemies you can damage with your basic attacks, with your skill, or with your burst, you're gonna be adding stacks to this sword. And therefore, after 7 seconds, or where she leaves the field, this sword is gonna fall down, doing massive amount of physical damage to nearby opponents, depending on how many stacks you had. So depending on how many enemies you were able to hit with your basic attacks, with your skill, or with the burst, you can proc, you can do more damage. Now again, here these numbers are because of the fact that this talent is level 8, but you can see that the skill is going to do the same amount of damage of the holding of the skill. So the burst is going to do the same amount of damage of the holding of the skill. And then you can see that the base damage of the sword, so if you have no stacks, you're gonna be doing 627.4% physical damage. That's already a lot. But then remember that for each stack you can get a maximum of 30. For each stack, the damage is going to be increased by 128.2%. And that's insane because you can get up to 30 stacks. Of course, you only have 7 seconds, so it's going to be very hard to be able to get the maximum stacks every time that you're going to use a burst. But this can increase massively the amount of physical damage that you can do. And yeah, I've seen already many people showing her off doing more than 200,000 damage, and yeah, it's just insane. The only drawback of this burst is the fact that the energy cost is very high. So yeah, you're gonna need a team that can create a lot of particles so that you can regen this. You can regen your burst and you can use it as soon as possible. And now remember, another very important thing is that if she leaves the field, so if you use her burst and then you change her with another character, this sword is going to explode immediately. So you're not going to be benefiting from the extra damage. So as soon as you use the burst, you have to keep her at least for 7 seconds until it procs, so that you can have you can get as many stacks as possible. Now another very important thing is that each enemy hit is going to be an independent stack. So if your basic attacks, you hit 2 enemies, you're going to be getting 2 stacks for this passive, so for the sword. If you with your skill you hit 4 enemies, that's 4 stacks. So that's why this burst is going to be especially nice when you're fighting a group of many enemies at once, and therefore you can proc more easily these maximum stacks. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Then the passive talents. The first one is going to be that if you consume 2 stacks of Grim Heart, so from her skill, you're going to be doing an additional damage of about 50% of the basic physical damage dealt by Lightfall Sword. So pretty much see this base damage here with this passive talent. Every time that you proc the holding of the skill and you have 2 stacks, you're going to be doing an additional 50% of this number right here. So in this case, because it's level 8, you're going to be doing 313.7%. So yeah, it's pretty nice, to have that extra physical damage. Second passive talent, every time that you use your burst, the cooldown of your skill is going to be reset, and you're going to gain 1 stack of Grim Heart. So you can combine this very well by using skill, burst, and then using the holding of the skill right afterwards, because you're going to have already 2 stacks. So yeah, remember, like, really the game wants you to be playing her, not just spamming the abilities, but knowing about how many stacks you have and how to really boost her damage. And then the last passive talent, it's gonna be she's gonna have a 10% chance of receiving double talent materials whenever you're crafting them. And yeah, that's pretty much her. So I'm gonna just here show her in a fight. So you can see that her physical damage is already pretty high. As I said before, she has 57.1% crit chance and 120%, I think, crit damage. And you can hit multiple enemies with the skill. You can see here I hit 4 of them. I didn't gain really a lot of stacks, a lot of particles, sorry. So you can see that it's pretty hard to feel the meter to be able to use the burst. So this is the burst, this is the animation, and you can see that this sword right here, can you see it here? This is the sword that you can add the stacks on. And here when it's gonna fall down, could you see there? It's gonna do AoE physical damage. So the more stacks you have, the more damage it's gonna do. And yeah, that's pretty much her. So I'm gonna just show you here in this case the holding, and you can see the extra swords and the extra physical damage that you do when you have double stack. And yeah, also Pain Flame set works very nicely. So here, for example, I can use this, then the burst, so I can get 2 stacks of the Grim Heart passive, and then yeah, just proccing here the sword. And yeah, so she's doing a lot of area damage. Her skill already deals area damage, the 2 effects, holding and pressing, and then the burst. So so yeah, I hope that you guys were able to see her, her kit. I'm gonna just use her burst here so that you can see the sword. So this is the sword, and now it's gonna do the base amount of damage because I'm not proccing any stacks. And you can see here that it's gonna fall down, see? And it's gonna just do damage in an area like around this. So it's a pretty huge area around her. So yeah, that's pretty much Eula. I think she's a pretty interesting character. No, it's a 5-star, so unless you are spending a lot of cash in the game, a lot of real money, or unless you're lucky, the chances of getting her are pretty low. But yeah, she looks a pretty interesting, character, because she's gonna be a main DPS doing mostly physical damage. And yeah, so I have saved up a little bit of Primogens and some fates. So I'm currently, I think I have a 70. I've done 72 wishes since I received the last 5-star character. So let's see here. Yeah, see here, Keqing. So yeah, I should have let me check out here, 2037. So I should have 66 or 68, depending exactly on how it's counted. But I should have around that amount of wishes since I got my 5-star. So you can see here I have 8 and I can pull 10 times more, 20 times more. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if I can gather out. So I'm gonna just wish here. I'm gonna be doing single wishes because this has been proved to be an easier way to increase your chances of having 4-star or 5-star. So yeah, I'm gonna just keep on doing this. Let's see if I see a 4-star also. I will be you know, seeing what it is. Oh, here we go. That's a 5-star. So that was a 5-star in 70 wishes, I think, or 71. So you can see that the chance is higher. And yeah, here we go. I got actually Eula. Wow. That was a 50-50%, 50-50 chance, and I got her. So yeah, nice. So I can actually here even avoid spending all these last other Primogens and the Fates because I already got the hero that I wanted. I'm not really interested in getting Xingqiu, Xingyan, or Beidou because I don't use them as characters or secondary characters or whatever. So yeah, I got what I wanted. So I got pretty lucky. In 5 pulls, I got Eula. As I said before, I had a lot of I had already like 66 wishes since I got my 5-star, so that's why you know, I got it that quickly. And yeah, so I hope that if you guys wanted her, you were able to get her pretty fast, pretty soon, as I did. And yeah, so that was it. That was it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and see ya. Bye bye. Actually, here, before doing the video, at the end of the video, I want to just try her out to see, you know, the basic stats. Actually, I didn't show the constellations, so I'm gonna just take a look here briefly at the constellations. So let's see how it goes. So I wanna just change her up in my team. Let's see. Switch. So she has 50 attack, 58 defense. Yeah, 50 attack. I think a level 1 is pretty high considered no, because she's a main DPS character. Now here the constellations. Yeah, I forgot to say something about that. So here C1. Every time you use your skill and your stacks are consumed, she's gonna be gaining extra physical damage for 6 seconds. So this is 30% more physical damage. And now each stack that you consume is gonna add this to this effect, not damage, but seconds. So the more stacks you can get, you can extend this effect, so this extra 30% physical damage, up to 18 seconds. So it's a pretty good, you know, passive, especially the extra physical damage. Then C2, this is one of the best, in my opinion. It's just one of the best constellations because the skill, the cooldown of the skill, the holding and the pressing is exactly the same. So you could see, could you remember that before here, the pressing is 4 seconds, holding is 10 seconds, so it's a lot longer. But with this constellation C2, now the holding is also 4 seconds, so it's very nice because it doesn't matter if you're using the skill like pressing it or holding it, you're gonna be able to have the same cooldown, and therefore you can still proc the pale flame effect. You can also use the stacks, so you can, you know, use the stacks and you can use the holding, just alternating them, and yes, very good. So this constellation, in my opinion, is really the one that increases our damage by a lot. C3 is just the extra levels for the burst. C4, again here, the Lightful Swords are the ones that you can proc when you hit your when you use your burst, right? And when you proc the second passive talent, I think this one, yeah, this one right here, the Shatter Lightful Sword. So when you consume 2 stacks, and also when you use this holding and you have some stacks, I think. No, this one is Icewear brand, so that's something different. So I think it's only when you proc this passive talent or with your burst. So these are the only Lightfall words that you can read out in the game. So yeah, when you use those two things, you can see that these swords are going to do 25% more damage against enemies with less than 50% HP. So yeah, these are going to be especially to like last hit and to just destroy. Level 5 is going to increase the skill. Of course, the skill has a lot more usages than the burst, so that's why I'm pretty sure they have put the skill in the Constellation 5 rather than on Constellation 3. And then finally C6, it's also, again, pretty strong. But I think it's at the same level of her C2. If you are using her, you know, on a battle scenario and not just considering how much damage the burst can do. And you can see here that when you use the burst, you have already 5 stacks. So after 30 stacks, you have already 5 stacks. So that's already extra damage. And then normal attacks, the skill or the burst, have 50% chance of granting an additional stack of energy. So instead of granting like 1, you can have 2. Instead of granting like 3, you can have 4, and so on. So it's a lot easier to reach the maximum amount of stacks from her burst. And yeah, once you reach 30, here you can see that you can have, actually it's 100, almost 200, sorry, 2000% more damage, depending on the base word, on the base damage. So yeah, it's a lot of damage. But yeah, this is especially for her burst. But I think overall for her kit, you're gonna be using her skill a lot more times, and therefore that's why I think that C2 and yeah, probably C2 and C1 are the ones that you're gonna really be using a lot more than like C6. And but yeah, that's just my opinion. So that was it. That was Eula pulling her luckily after 5 wishes. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and see ya. Bye bye.